we'll be discussing resourcefulness, mainly the art of resourcefulness. So, what is resourcefulness? According to the dictionary, resourcefulness is the ability to find quick and clever ways to overcome difficulties. Quick and clever ways to overcome difficulties. Now, we're going to go into a little bit more in depth about that because there's two parts to being resourceful. There's that inner resourcefulness and that outer resourcefulness. Outer resourcefulness is when you're depending on something outside of yourself in order to overcome difficulties. And these difficulties could be anything from changing the mood you're in, looking for values and strengths from something else, but you're always looking for something outside of you to overcome these difficulties. This is a place where I used to be because I used to always look for that next thing to help me. I used to always look for that next thing that I thought would help me be a better person. So when I learned about being inner resourceful and developing my inner strengths and my inner resourcefulness, that gave me the ability to have my own tools within myself to overcome the difficulties. So, why does this matter? Because what I learned the hard way was it was not ideal for me to be dependent on outside things. It was not ideal for me to be dependent on outside motivation, outside strength, outside resilience, that I had to be at a certain thing or do a certain thing or be around a certain person in order for me to feel good. That that's not a good place to be for me. And my hope is that for you to start to develop that inner resource of motivation, strength, resilience, or any other value or quality that you want to have, because you have to have it within yourself. You have to have this within you so you can call it, and it's a part of who you are and a part of your identity. And you don't have to rely on these unreliable outside stimulus in order for you to feel a certain way. Now, I will say this, it's okay, and I encourage it. Go out there and learn. Go attend events, go read books, audiobooks, seminars, and all of these things. It's great to get ideas. I do it myself. I'm an Audible junkie. I love programs. I love learning. I love watching YouTube videos. Some of my favorite teachers are Tony Robbins, Brendan Bouchard, Tom Bilyeu, Joe Dispenza, and the list goes on and on and on and on. I mean, look at all my books back here. And I'm always getting new ideas, but those ideas don't help me unless I'm able to turn them into my own inner resources. One of the things I'm going to say here is don't put the fate of your state or your power in the hands of something outside of you. Let me say that again. Don't put the fate of your state or your power in the hands of outside of you. We want to be the masters of our fate. We want to be the captains of our soul and the masters of our fate. I think I said that backwards, but that's okay. We want to be able to manage our state, our power, our motivation, our strength, our resilience within ourselves. That doesn't mean that we're never going to go to outside resources, but within ourselves should be the first place that we look. So, one thing about inner resources is I want you to think about it like your inner toolbox. So, think about having this big, beautiful toolbox right in front of you that's always with you no matter what. And in this toolbox, you have a tool to help you control your state. You have a tool that can help you in tough situations. You have a tool that can help you regulate your emotions, how you feel, and how you react to certain situations. You have a tool that you can pull out when you're getting ready to make a proposal or go into a business meeting. You have a tool that you can pull out whenever you're stuck or you need an idea or you need to get creative. You have a tool for motivation, strength, resilience, or any other value that you have. And all of this is within you. It's all your own internal resources that you have there that you're able to summon whenever you need them. And the ideal goal of mastery is to be able to just be. that you don't have to think about these resources. They're just part of who you are, and they're there with you no matter what. So, I'm going to share 3 ways on how you can be even more resourceful. And notice that I said be even more resourceful because I believe that you're already resourceful. Maybe you don't know how to tap into these resources. Maybe you don't know that they're there. Maybe you're not aware on how to summon them at your will, but you're already a resourceful person. So that's why I'm saying is these are 3 ways that you can be even more resourceful with your life. So Tony Robbins has this philosophy that he calls the triad. And one of the things that I really love and appreciate about Tony is that he can take a very complex subject and make it very simple and easy to understand. So the triad he teaches it at UPW, which is his intro live seminar, Unleash the Power Within. He talks about it in his audio programs. He talks about it in his audio books. He has a link to it on his website, which I will post below. So the triad is 3 things: focus, physiology, and language, which all control and help you manage your state. So I'll give you a quick overview. So if you're in a less than desirable state, you can change one of these 3 things: your focus, your physiology, or your language. What are you focusing on? What are you focusing on? Are you focusing on what's great about the situation, or are you focusing on what's not great about the situation? Are you grateful, or are you hurting? Where is your focus going? And obviously, focus is right here in the mind. What are you focusing on? 2, what are you saying to yourself? What is the language that you're using towards the situation or towards yourself? Are you being loving or are you being hateful? This can make a big difference on how you feel. And third, physiology. What's your body doing? So if your focus starts to go into the negative, if you're using limiting language, where is your body at? Are your shoulders down or are they up? Are you breathing slow or are you breathing fast? Is your energy low or is it high? And all of this helps you be helps you control your state, which is directly tied to the amount of resourcefulness that you have. So now we can change 1, 2, or 3 of these things to change our state. Instead of focusing on what's wrong, what's right? How can you feel even more gratitude about this situation? What's great about this situation? What's the lesson in this situation? What are you saying to yourself? Are you being supportive? Ricardo, you can do this. Yes, we can get past this. It's going to be okay. It's going to work out. In the long run, it's going to be for the best. What's my physiology? Are my shoulders up, my neck up, my head up? Am I breathing with purpose? Is my energy starting to move around? Am I feeling free? And again, all of this helps you control your state, which helps you be even more resourceful. If you're in a resourceful state, guess what? You're even more resourceful. If you're in an unresourceful state, you're not going to be very resourceful. So control your focus, your physiology, and your language. So something that goes right along with the triad and controlling focus, physiology, and language is awareness. Where are you? Are you in a very resourceful state or are you in an unresourceful state? Are you in a state that can help you get stuff done or are you in a state that's holding you back and just keeping you down from moving forward? And what needs to happen for you to get into a better state? What I like to think about is a scale. Let's just think of a scale from 0 to 10. 10 is your ideal state, 0 is your less than ideal state, and you spend most of your time in a 7 or an 8, but you dip down to a 5. What do you need to do to get to a 6? Hmm, that's a good one. So all we want to do is just make these little changes, but it all starts with awareness. Where are you on this scale? If you're not aware, how do you know that you need to change it? And the note that I love here, something that I've heard for years, again, this was from Tony Robbins, Unlimited Power. Actually, the first book I ever got of his was Unlimited Power back in the 90s. And on there he says, what's the difference that makes the difference? And at the time, I didn't know this was an NLP concept, but this is a big concept in a preposition in NLP is what's the difference that makes the difference? What is the difference that can help us improve our state? And that's a big note and something that it's very important to keep in your mind. So we talked about inner resources, outer resources, being more resourceful within ourselves, controlling our state, controlling our focus, our language, our physiology. And again, that link for the Tony Robbins website will be below. But another way that you can be even more resourceful is to tap into the outer resources. Now, I did say that we want to go to the inner resources first, which is true, but it's what part of being resourceful and being resourceful for yourself and having these inner resources is being able to go to the outer resources when you need them. And asking for help is a big one. We have to be resourceful enough to know, like, hey, I need some outside help here. I have these resources outside of me that I can tap into, that I can go to whenever I need them, and to summon them and to get the information that you need. Now, this is this is a big old pet peeve of mine. For some reason, I am starting to notice that we are starting to lose our inner resourcefulness. And one of the things that I'm seeing a lot here is that on Facebook, people think Facebook is Google. So I'll have people in some groups that'll post like, hey, what is the recipe for this? Or what is this? Or how do you do that on Facebook? And then they wait for someone to respond. So instead of typing the same question in Google and figuring it out for themselves, they type it on Facebook and wait for someone to respond with the links that they would have found on Google. And in some cases, I even see people respond, I just did a quick Google search for your question, and this is what came up. Now, this person who posted this could be even more resourceful and just type that in Google and do their own research. That's being that's having inner resourcefulness, but using those outer resources like Google. The other way where you're just posting that question on Facebook and waiting for something or someone to respond, you're just throwing it out there and waiting for that outer resourcefulness to help you get you your answer. The thing with that is now that we're waiting for somebody else instead of taking action and being the person who drives our destiny. Now we're waiting on somebody else. We're waiting on the information that someone else provides us versus going to go look at 5, 10 web pages that Google came up with and us deciding for ourselves which one is the best fit for what we're looking for. Now we're relying on the opinions of somebody else to determine what the best fit for us is. But that's part of being resourceful and using your outer resources versus throwing it out there and just saying, okay, well, it's not my fault. It's this person's fault that they sent me the wrong link. A big no. So part of being resourceful and having that inner resourcefulness is knowing and being comfortable reaching out and asking for help, reaching out and tapping into those outer resources and using them and allowing those outer resources to complement and strengthen those inner resources. So that's all that this is. So the first thing is manage your triad, your physiology, your focus, and your language. Again, I'll put the link below for the Tony Robbins page. Number two is knowing where you are. What's the difference that makes the difference? How can you get from a unideal state or an unresourceful state to a more resourceful state? That's part of being able to control your own emotions and your feelings. And obviously that goes back to number one is controlling your focus, your physiology, and your language. And number three is being resourceful enough to know when you need help, to know that you have outer resources that you can use, to know that you have outside knowledge that you can tap into. But it's also looking for that knowledge, not just throwing it out there and whatever happens, happens. It's being very intentional and looking for the information that fits your immediate need. That's that last one is being so resourceful that like, okay, hey, you know what? I've tapped out my resources. I need something outside of me, but I'm going to go learn. I'm going to go get it. I'm going to go ask for help. I'm going to call someone. I'm going to do whatever I need to do to get the information that I need. And then adding it to that inner toolbox and adding it to to yourself, making it to where this outer resource strengthens your inner resource and complements it. So, comment below. Let me know what you think about this topic, the art of resourcefulness. Do you have any questions, any feedback, any comments? I would love to hear it. Thank you so much for tuning in. And remember to visit forceforgrowth.com to subscribe, like, and share. We're on all of the podcasting platforms, including Facebook podcast here pretty soon, probably this week or next week. And remember, always be a force for good, a force for growth, and a force for greatness. Have a great day. Bye.